Alright, now on to the second part of the video, and this is the intro where we're covering the chords and how they're played, and now we're up to the C chords. So we have a standard C, which is going to be the 3rd fret on the 5th string, 2nd fret on the D string, which is your 4th string, open on the G string, and then hitting that 1st fret on the B string. And we're not hitting the low E and we're not hitting the high E, okay? So we're just hitting those middle strings. And then it gives us a C. Now there's a different way, is a lot of times when you're playing songs that are G, C, and D, a lot of times you'll see it's play G and then they play, which is the next chord, the C2. And then the D. Okay, so the C2 is we still we change up and we use our middle finger for that 3rd fret on the 5th string, and then we use our 1st finger for the D string, the 2nd fret, and then we use our ring finger down here to hit this this D right here, which is the 3rd fret on the B string. Okay, so it's the same shape as a G chord whenever you're playing a G chord, but we just move our fingers down a string. So there's G, D, or C2. So that's a C2. Let that D and that G ring out. Okay, C minor. There's 2 ways you can play a C minor. So if we played a normal C chord, we could actually slide down, and this is a bit tricky, is that you can use your 1st finger to cover that 1st fret on the 4th string, and then you also need to hit that 1st fret on the B string. Like I said, it's pretty tricky. Play C minor this way. The best way I've found to play a C minor is to actually play the bar chord for it. So we would take our 1st fret and we would bar the 3rd string all the way across. So starting from the 5th string down. Okay, so I'm going to use my ring finger, and this is just like the B minor. If we played that B minor and slide it up a half step, that's a C minor. So the ring finger on the 5th fret, and then the pinky right underneath it on the 5th fret for the G string. And then my 1st finger, I'm going to sit there and use that for the 2nd string on the 4th fret. So that's my C minor. And then for a C over E, like earlier I was talking about the over-under chords, we're not going to play this C bass note. The bass note is going to be an E. So we're going to use this E that's on the 4th string at the 2nd fret. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a C chord, but instead of playing that low C right here, we're actually going to take that off, and we're only going to play the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. So that would be our C over E. And then we have a C sharp minor. So if we took that C minor and moved it up a half step, that's our C sharp minor. And then whenever we're playing in the key of E, you can not bar all the way across. So leave this 1st string E, that high E, leave it open, but only use this for the key of E. Okay, so that'll be our C sharp minor for the key of E. And then our C sharp, if we were to take that B chord and go up a whole step, which would be 4th fret on the 5th string, 6, that's our C sharp. Okay. Now for the D chords, standard D, so we got the 4th frets open, and then second fret on the G string, and then I use my ring finger to hit fret the third string, or the second string on the third fret, and then my first finger to fret the second fret on the first string. So we got our D. Okay, and then the D over F sharp. We need that F sharp in the low end, and so what I do is I take my thumb and I hit the second fret on the low E string is F sharp, so E, F sharp, and so I'll strum all the strings. Although I do use my thumb to kind of mute that A string, so it's really not coming through. Okay, so that's the D over F sharp. So the D minor 7. So if we took a normal D chord and inverted it, then we would get the D minor 7. Okay, so we still got that open D, which is playing that 4th string open, and then the second fret on the G string, playing the first fret on the B string, and then playing that second fret again, that F sharp on the E string. And that's a D minor 7. Now a standard D minor is, if we play normal D, we could take this middle finger, use that to fret that second fret on the G string, and then take our first finger and hit this F on the E string. So we've got D on, which is the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and then we've got this A on the G string, your 3rd string, and then the F. Okay, so that's the D. And for the E chords, standard E chord. Okay, so open E, 2nd fret, which is your B on the 5th string, and then you use a ring finger underneath it, which is your 2nd fret on the D string, and then first finger on the G sharp, which is on your G string. There's your E. Another way to play that whenever we're playing in the key of E is on if you took your 2 dots, which is your 12, and the dot below that's your 9, and then the dot below that's your 7. So on the 5th string, through the 7th fret on your 5th string, and then ring and pinky for the 9 on the 9th fret of the D and the G string, and play it open. Okay. That gets you a real nice open E sound. Okay. So that's a variation only to be used whenever we're playing in the key of E. And then we have the E sus. So if we took an E chord and we took our pinky and placed it on the 2nd fret of the G string, so we'd have the 2nd fret G string, 2nd fret D string, 2nd fret on the A string, and played that. That's our E sus. So a lot of times that's used as a kind of like a travel note, so playing E. Okay, so it's our E sus. One of the more trickier chords is the E over G sharp, and so the way that I'll play this a lot of times is I use my 2nd finger for the 4th fret, which is a G sharp on the E string, the low E, and then I take my first finger and I hit the B on the 5th string, and then I'll bar that, so kind of like the A over C sharp. there's a usually the chord transitions are pretty quick, but if they're kind of slow, sometimes I'll add in some higher notes in there. But there's a much easier way to play. Usually when we're playing E over G sharp, it's in the key of E. So there's a more simple way to do this. And so we'll take our middle finger and we'll fret that 4th string at G sharp. The 5th string is going to be muted, so I'm going to lay my middle finger a little bit on that 5th string to kind of mute it out. And then I'm going to take my ring and my pinky, and I'm going to go on the 4th fret of the D and G string, which is these 2 strings here, the 4th and the 5th. I mean the 3rd and the 4th. Okay? And then I play the B and the E open. So you get that nice open sound there. That's the easiest way to play the E over G sharp. Okay, so the E7, if we took an E chord and we sit there and took off our ring finger, that would be our E7. Okay, so we got open, 2nd, open, 1st. Okay, so that's our E7. The E over D sharp is real simple, is that we're playing this open D here. Starting with this open D, we're going to go open, 1st, open, open. And that's your E over D. Okay, so you just 1 fret is that 1st string, or that 1st fret on the 3rd string. And then the E minor, if we took the E chord and took our 1st finger off and then played it open, that's E minor right there. Another variation that's not listed on the chord chart is usually when you're playing G, C, D, is they'll leave the ring finger on this 3rd fret of the B string, and then they'll play that E minor chord. And that's actually an E minor 7. So you'll see that being used too, but keeping it simple, just 2 fingers, keep that open. Okay, the E flat more than likely won't be used because we'll probably capo to where you'll get to play it in a different key for simplicity's sake. But to play an E flat, so we got 1st fret on the D string, 3rd fret on the G string, and 4th fret on the B string. And so you got an E flat there. Okay, so the E flat with the G in it, so take your 1st finger and play G. Make sure to kind of mute out that A string, which is your 5th string. Okay, now onto the F. F, we're going to bar across all the 1st frets for all the strings. Okay, and then we're going to take our ring and our pinky to make a bar chord. And we're going to go 3rd fret on the 5th string, 3rd fret on the 4th string, and then 1st fret on the 3rd string. You have an F that way, or you can not play this low F up here. And here's a more traditional way of playing it, is omitting the top string and just playing the 5th string. Okay. Now the F sus is if so like on the E sus. So we had an E chord essentially here, and played the sus here. If you move that up, you would have, there's your F. Although we do play those low ends here. So normally what I'll do is on an F sus is I'll just bring my fingers down to give me that on the 3rd string to give me the 3rd fret. Okay, so the one really unusual chord that we have, and I'll cover that in the next video, looks like we're going to go to 3 parts.